Well, good morning. It is Thursday morning, and I'm so excited about what we're going to share with you today. Normally, we have our monthly RE/MAX office meeting, and today we had the opportunity of having a very powerful guest, someone that will inspire you, maybe make you cry. Who knows what Nick's going to bring, but I'm very excited. So I know we have people that are local from our office around the Phoenix area, but I also know there's a lot of different broker owners and agents around the Valley. If you can kind of just do me a favor, if it's possible for you guys to put some comments in the chat where you're from and who you are. I'd like to be able to see that so we can kind of monitor what's going on. But really, I'm going to quit talking and kind of just get to the meat of it. I met Nick at a GoBundance event in Beaver Creek, Colorado. And it was pretty inspiring, right? We didn't just get him for an hour. We had him for the whole event. And he was given a adaptive snowboard. I don't think he had snowboarded before. We know he was a skateboarder as a kid. And I know he's enjoyed that. And it's been part of his way to relax and have fun. But we'll let Nick tell some stories about that. So basically, we're gonna push a reel here in a second, but I just want to thank Nick and for taking time out of his life to inspire us. Right? We just passed this year. The last 13 months have been the most bizarre year that I've had in my life, and I'm sure all of you as well with the pandemic. And some of us have been complaining a little bit. Let's say we've been whining about different things over the year, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, having a shot, not leaving your house and being quarantined. And, these are all things that cause us to maybe digress as opposed to maybe moving forward, right? And I think this is just a perfect time for Nick's message. And let's just start the reel and let's get to Nick. Have a great day, guys, and thank you for coming on.
The doctors classified me with hand-heart syndrome. Are you ready to challenge the impossible?
My name is Nick Santonastasso. Nick Santonastasso.
Welcome back to Max Out with Ed Milet. This man to my left, I think, is one of the most inspiring people on planet Earth today.
Welcome to Beijing.
At the time of my birth, I was the 12th baby in medical history that they've ever seen this happen to. And out of the 12, 8 of them have passed away due to undeveloped organs.
Like any other 12-year-old, Nick Santonastasso enjoys football, skateboarding, and playing video games. And while these may sound like simple everyday activities, for Nick, they are anything but. He is one boy who defies the odds.
It's not about how many times we fall down. It's about how many times we get up and keep moving forward.
And an unbelievable public speaker, for the record, that you're going to hear about in a minute. But this is Nick Santonastasso.
Have you ever felt like you were invisible? Have you ever felt like you weren't good enough? Raise your hand if at least one time in your life you said, "Why me?" Look around the room. It's everywhere. We all get a taste of that victim mentality. Why me? Why do I have to be born like this? Why do I have to be born with no legs and one arm? Why do the kids have to make fun of me? Why do I have to go through these challenges? What I've realized over the 23 years of my life, it's not the physical body that holds us back, but it's the mindset. The biggest disability you can have is a bad mindset.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you guys so much. First and foremost, RE/MAX, I appreciate you having me. And you're in the right hand or the right finger here if you have a company that's investing in you and your personal development and your growth. Now, first and foremost, please, 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 I want you to eliminate all distractions. Now, I know you're hustlers. I know you're achievers, and you're like me. You always want to win. But right now, over the next 35 to 40 minutes, I'm going to be sharing some tactical strategies, things that you can implement into your business, your life, your relationships immediately to get to the next level. And so if you can eliminate all distractions, whether that's your emails, your phone, I turn my phone over, you turn your phone over, because we're going to get this party started. I see all the comments coming in. Sarah from Phoenix, Howard, great to see you. Love this. Keep them coming, and let's get started. So I'll start off with this. I was back in the airport this one time. I'm always at the airport, but the specific time I rolled up to the airport and I'm with my team. And I remember it was Southwest Flight 244. And I'm with my team, and they pushed me up in a wheelchair. And do you know what happens when you get pushed up in the airport in a wheelchair? You get to skip the line, right? You get to skip the line. Focus on your strengths, people. And so they roll me up into the terminal, and they send me down into the plane. And I'm the first person on the plane. You know, I'm in a wheelchair. And so I sat in the first row. And I sat towards the window so two other people could have the best seats in the plane. And I remember the flight attendant saying, honey, this is going to be a full flight. I said, no worries. You already got my seat. And the plane started filling in. The plane started filling in, and people are looking at me and then looking away. Or, hey, look at that guy. And over the 24 years of my life, I'm in tune with this stuff. I see it more than other people would see it. And so the plane started filling in, and no one wanted to sit next to me. And I felt things that all human beings feel. I felt uncomfortable in my skin. I felt unconfident. I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like something was so wrong with me that I was just an outlier. And I know we can all relate. And so finally, two gentlemen sit down. They had to fill the seats. And I'm looking at the window, and I'm trying to be a stud, but I'm crying. I'm tearing up. And I asked myself an honest question. I talked to myself. You probably talk to yourself too. I talked to myself, and I was like, Nick, what would you tell the kids you speak to? Nick, what would you tell the adults you speak to? Practice what you preach. What would you tell them? And I said, it's the meaning I attach behind this event. How do I reframe this? How do I find the win? And in that moment, I said, Nick, you can cry the way home. You can let this affect your day, your week, your month. Or Nick can celebrate the fact that he has the most legroom in this plane. If you're at home right now, I want you to snap your fingers. I'll pretend. Here you go. Snap your fingers. In the snap of a finger, I was able to take a situation that was a loss. I was able to take a situation that was disempowering and turned into a what? Quick in the chat. I turned that loss into a what? A win. By changing the meaning behind the event. This is the technique called reframing. I want you to write this down. It's called reframing. And what reframing is I can have a tragic event happen in my life. And you can have a tragic event happen in yours. You can see all the good, I can see all the bad. It's the meaning we attach behind the event. Who sees that? And so right now, even in our lives, we can simply write down our worst moment. I'm talking about our worst moments. I'm talking about a death in the family, a financial burden, a breakup, a divorce. I don't know what it is, but you can write down one of the moments in your life that you thought was the worst. And you can ask yourself a powerful question. And the question is, what did I learn from this? What are the teachings? What are the learning from this? That's what we're here for in life. We're students of earth. This is our classroom, and we're going to go through ups and downs. But most importantly, you need to ask yourself, what did I learn from this? So you can turn that loss into a W. It's one of the most powerful things. And I want you to write this down as well. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. And the reason why I'm going to ask a lot of questions over these next 35 to 40 minutes is because the quality of your life, comes down to the quality of the questions you ask yourself on a day-to-day basis. Now, what does that mean? Why is that important? Well, our brain, it's 2 million years old. And our brain is a problem-solving mechanism. And so if you ask a question, your brain's always going to come up with an answer. And so if you ask a terrible question, what kind of answer are you going to get? Quick. A terrible one. And when you ask yourself a better question, you get a better answer. And so remember, ask better questions to get better answers. And this is only one small technique that we're going to go through, but I just wanted to share the power of changing your story. When you change your story, you change your life. Whether that's your story around your whole family never went to college. What's the learnings? Or I never had financial freedom. I'm going to be the first one to do it in my family. I don't know what it is for you, but there's moments in your life that you can change the story or change the meaning to get the learnings and turn that loss into a W. Now, before I even get into the nitty-gritty content, I have an exercise that I created for you that's literally able to lower your anxiety and stress levels in just 5 to 6 minutes. Is that okay? In the chat, I want you to see in the chat. Is that okay if I take you through an exercise that literally has the ability to lower your anxiety and stress levels in just 5 to 6 minutes? And I'm going to do the exercise anyway, right? I'm drunk with power up here, but I want you to rate your anxiety and stress levels right now. 1 being I'm chilling, I'm good, I'm living life, and 10 being like, I'm going to pull my hair out, I'm full of anxiety, I'm full of stress, I'm overwhelmed. I want you to rate your anxiety stress levels from 1 through 10 right now, and then we're going to go through this exercise. And I promise you, listen, you will get what you put into this. And what I mean by that is this exercise, even after all the teachings that I'm going to teach you afterwards, this exercise could be one of the greatest gifts that you give yourself, that you give your team, and that you give your family if you're willing to play full out. Is that okay? We're willing to play full out? I'm going to get uncomfortable up here. You're going to get uncomfortable there. And that's why we're going to grow here. And so we're going to play this exercise. And I'm not going to walk you through it. I'm going to talk you through it. But actually, I'm going to go through the exercise as well. I pre-recorded it because I wanted to go through it as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to throw in the exercise. We're going to close our eyes, follow along with my words and my voice. And this will be one of the greatest gifts that you give yourself. Let's roll the exercise.
We're going to start off with 6 deep breaths. And the reason being, it's going to relax your mind, get you into your heart, and get us ready for our journey. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 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 Now make this last deep breath your deepest breath in. Deep breath in. Hold it. Deep breath out. I want you to put your hands on your heart and breathe deep into your heart. Feel your heart. What's pretty cool about your heart is that it was given to you. It was a gift. Life's a gift. Now I want you to go to a moment in your life that you can feel extremely grateful for. A moment in your life that you can feel extremely grateful for. Maybe it was the birth of a child, family vacation, a wedding, but a moment for you that you can feel extremely grateful for. Who was there? What did the environment look like? Live in that moment. That's it. That's it. Now I want you to go to a moment in your life. Let's stack that moment. I want you to go to a moment in your life that you can feel extremely proud of. A moment in your life that you can feel extremely proud of. Maybe it's a mommy-daddy moment, a business moment, a family moment, but a moment for you that you can feel proud of. That's it. This is your moment. Don't let it go. Live in the moment. I see some tears. I see some smiles. That's it. This is your moment. Now let's go to one more moment. I want you to go to a moment in your life that felt coincidental. A moment for you where you were at the right place at the right time. And was it coincidental? Or were you guided? Guided by God, the universe, the higher power, whatever you believe in. A moment for you that felt guided or coincidental. That's it. You're doing great. Breathe that moment into your heart. Fill up with those emotions like gratitude, appreciation. That's it. And when you're ready, at your own pace, bring your attention to the present moment. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes.
That's it. How was that, my friends? Listen, in the chat, if you're up for it, I want you to type down that moment that you went to, what was a moment of gratitude, a moment of being proud of, or a moment where you felt guided, where you were at the right place at the right time. Now, also, how was that anxiety and stress? Has it lowered? Most likely because the reason being is because the emotion of gratitude outweighs all the negative emotions. It is emotionally impossible for you to feel grateful and sad at the same time, grateful and angry at the same time, because the emotion of gratitude will always outweigh all the negative emotions. And I've been grateful enough to spend a lot of time with my dear friend Tony Robbins, and he always told me, Nick, when you're in your head, you're dead. When you're in your heart, you're smart. When we come from our heart, when we come from compassion, gratitude, love, everything that we're made of, we make better decisions. We take better action. We get better results. But how many times have we been so in our head where we talked ourselves out of an idea? We got in our head and we got anxiety and stress and we freaked out. Remember, when you're in your head, you're dead. When you're in your heart, you're smart. Thank you for sharing that with me. And if that was powerful, we're also going to drop a link. It's free. Go grab the gratitude exercise so you can implement that into your daily rituals. What does your life look like if you started your day with gratitude and appreciation? What do your team meetings look like if you started them with celebrating wins, gratitude, and appreciation? What kind of results are we going to get if we lead from our heart and get out of our head? So if you want to go pick up that exercise, it's free. You're going to go ahead and click the link. They dropped it. And while I'm doing that, we're going to move on, but make sure you snag that link. Now, what I've realized, my friends, we can pull up the slides. What I've realized over the 24 years of my life, I realized that it's not the physical body that holds you back. But the biggest disability you can have is a bad mindset. We can pull up the slides here. And over the last 3 years, I've spoken to thousands of people all over the world just like you to help them make more money, improve their sales and conversions, improve their communication, improve their relationships, and get out of their own way, because the bottom line is the majority of things that are holding you back are yourself and they're unconscious. And so over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to teach you the power of the victory method. And the victory method has helped thousands of people just like you land their dream jobs. I know you're in your dream job here, but help them land their dream jobs, negotiate huge salary increases, launch their business, get into the best shape of their life. And for some of our victors inside the group, repairing broken relationships. But this victory method is extremely powerful because I've tested it on thousands and thousands of people just like you. And so I think we can all agree that times have changed. Times have changed, and we just mentioned that we went through one of the weirdest, most different years of our whole entire life in our business and in our personal lives. And the bottom line is we are in a new world with a new economy. And because we are in a new economy, we need to do things that are different to get new results. Listen, most people out there, they wake up, they read the same things, they take the same actions, they get the same results, and they have the same life, but they expect to have a different life by doing the same things over and over again. Would you agree that during this time, we need to pivot? We need to take new actions, get new results, hang out with new people, listen to new content, right? And also I put up here, there are two types of people. I held up two, but I got one finger. There are two types of people, my friends. There are people right now that are using this unprecedented time to slow down on their goals, to slow down on their habits and rituals. They lost the gym. They're not working out anymore. They're not doing personal development anymore. They're not taking the very actions that got them to where they are today. And the analogy is there are two types of people. One person is sharpening their blade, and one person is making their blade dull. Use this time to sharpen your blade. Use this time to double down on your habits. Use this time to double down on your rituals. Use this time to go further and get more prepared so when the world comes back, even if it never comes back, that you took the time now to invest in yourself, to learn new skills, new ways to provide value to the marketplace, so you're ahead of the game while most people are taking their foot off the pedal. Can we agree? I want you to sharpen your blade. Now, there are three pillars. I want you to write this down as we go, but there are three pillars that make up the victory method. And these pillars are all equally as important. And they bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. So the first pillar that I want you to write down is consistency. It's going to be 3 C's. I'm going to give you one right now. The first pillar of the victory method is consistency. So I want to share this picture with you. This is Chubby Nick. My team always likes throwing this picture up on the slides. Now, this is high school Nick. I'm not in great shape, to be fully transparent. I hate my body. I thought it was the biggest curse that life could give me. And I was looking for a way out. And as in a way out, I was looking for ways that I could fall in love with myself a little bit more each and every day. And so when I got into high school, my older brother had graduated. He passed away, but I always try to honor my brother. My brother was a wrestler in New Jersey, and wrestling was a big deal. And when I got into high school, all my best friends are wrestlers as well. And so I go into high school one day, and my best friends come up to me, and they said, Nick, why don't you try wrestling? And I said, I can't, my arm. And what I mean by that is this arm, we used to call it a chicken wing, but it looks like a potato now. And the reason why it looked like a chicken wing is because this arm was 5 inches longer than it is now. And my bone was going faster than my skin. So the bottom line is, if I would have hit my arm hard enough, my bone would have came through my skin. And one of the greatest tools my parents ingrained in me at an early age was focusing on the solution rather than the problem. I became solution-oriented at a very early age, and so I was thinking about all the ways that I could become a wrestler. How can I get away from this arm? Because I knew that if I could become a wrestler, it would instill confidence in me. It would instill self-integrity in me, and it would make me fall in love with a body that I didn't really enjoy. And so I came home one day and I sat both my parents down. I said, Mom and Dad, I want to become a wrestler. My mom said, oh no, Nick. Oh no, Nick, God forbid you hit your arm, your bone comes through your skin. What are you going to do then? And in under 10 seconds, I came up with a solution. I looked my parents in their eyes and I said, can we cut my arm off? And they said, what? I said, yeah, can we do something about it? Can we cut my arm off? And my mom leaned in. She said, Nick, honey, the right word is amputate. You're so aggressive with your words. And I said, okay, I'll use your vocabulary. Can we amputate my arm? Can we do something about it? And my sophomore year, my parents went ahead and scheduled the appointment so the doctors can amputate my arm so I could become a wrestler. Now, that story is great, and that's pretty amazing that I did that. But what's most important is the questions that I'm going to ask you right now that have you self-reflect. The first question is, what are you willing to sacrifice to be successful? What are you willing to sacrifice to be successful? What are the very limiting beliefs that you need to cut off that no longer serve you? I'm talking about I'm not good enough. I'm too old to start the business. I'm too young. I don't have the resources. I don't have the networks. I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to influence. What are the very beliefs in your life right now that you say over and over again that no longer serve you that you need to cut off? And during this moment of me cutting my arm off and becoming a wrestler and instilling confidence in me, my epiphany was that confidence is a skill. I want you to write that down. This is extremely important. Confidence is a skill. It's a muscle. It's something that we acquire. And how you develop confidence is you control what you can't control. I think we can all agree in the chat that there's a lot of things in our life that we can't control. And a lot of the times we spend too much energy focusing on things we can't control versus the things that we can control. And so what I mean by controlling the controllables is I've created non-negotiables in my life. Now, before I get into non-negotiables, the reason why this is so important is because confidence comes, listen from this, confidence comes from following through on the very promises that you keep within yourself. I'll give you a story. I'll give you an analogy. Say you and I said, after this speech, meet me at 6 p.m. We're going to have a Chipotle burrito date, right? I'm not sponsored by Chipotle. I just like Chipotle. Meet me here at 6 p.m. We're going to have a Chipotle burrito date. And you're like, awesome. And you show up at 6 p.m. and Nick doesn't show up. How many times of Nick not showing up are you going to realize that I'm unreliable? Once, twice, 3 times, right, if you're a pushover? Now let's flip the script on ourselves. How many times of us making promises to ourselves and we don't show up are we going to realize that we're unreliable? You see, the deeper issue is every time that we commit to something, whether that's I'm going to get 15 prospects this week, I'm going to make this amount of calls, I'm going to do this advertising, whatever it is, every time that we create a promise and we break it, unconsciously we diminish the relationship we have within ourselves. We diminish our work ethic, we diminish our self-integrity, and we diminish the way that we view ourselves. And who agrees that when you break one promise, it's easier to break 2, 3, 4, and then we get into this downward spiral, and then we're unconfident and we're unresourceful. Who sees that? So confidence comes from you creating little promises in your life and you following through on them, and most importantly, celebrating them. And why is confidence important? Why is self-integrity important? Well, listen to this. I want you to write this down. You will never make more than you think you're worth. That's it. You will never make more than you think you're worth. If you don't think you're worth $100K a year, guess what? You're never going to make $100K a year. If you don't think you're worth $500K a year, guess what? You ain't going to reach $500K a year. If you don't think you're worth the amazing relationship at home, guess what? You ain't going to have the relationship at home. If you don't think you're worth the physical body, the physique that you've always wanted, the weight you always wanted to lose, if you don't think you're worth it, guess what? It ain't going to happen. You see, in business and life, 80% is your psychology. 20% is mechanics. Anyone can come in and they can give you the scripts. They can teach you how to close more deals, find the prospects. They can teach you what to say, when to say it. But if you have beliefs that are holding you back, who agrees that those mechanics kind of go out the window? Who sees that? And would you agree that when you show up on a deal or when you show up on a showing or whatever it is, or when you're teaching your community and your people under you, if you're unconfident, they're going to feel that. If you're uncertain about what you're doing, they're going to feel that, and that's going to translate into lack of sales or lack of influence. So control the controllables. And what we can do in this moment is I've created non-negotiables in my life. And non-negotiables mean that despite what goes on in my business, despite what goes on in my personal life that day, that these few things get done. And my few things in my life are my gallon of water and 45 minutes of working out. That's it. You don't have to adopt mine. But what I'm saying is create rules or set things in your life that you achieve no matter what. So when you put your sweet little head down on the pillow, that you experience progress. Because would you agree that humans love the feeling of progress? Yes or no? Humans love the feeling of progress. And some of our deepest and darkest and lowest days come from the days where we feel like we're stagnant, where we feel like we're not moving the needle forward. Who agrees? Drop a yes. So control the controllables. Most people have a dirt road to happiness and a highway to hell. I'll say it again. Most people out there have a dirt road to happiness and a highway to hell. Meaning they make it really difficult for them to feel good about themselves, and they make it really easy for them to feel bad about themselves. Who knows what I'm talking about? Create your rules in your life with non-negotiables so you can feel happiness, fulfillment, and progress every day, despite what goes on in your business and your personal life. Can we do that? Next slide. So this is the outcome. I want you to take a picture of this next time that you're feeling lazy and you don't want to go to the gym. I want you to take a picture of this. But this is the outcome of consistency. This is the outcome of following through in the very promises that I kept within myself. And who agrees that you can literally see the physiology change in my body from left to right? The person on the left, the guy on the left, in high school, unconfident, insecure, probably doesn't have very good beliefs about themselves. And then the person on the right, I'm standing up taller. Confidence is physical too, by the way. It's your physiology. It's your state. It's the way that I'm standing. My head is up high. I'm confident because I've been following through on promises this was like over 2 years of following through on the same promises over and over again. This is the outcome of consistency. And this is also the outcome of when you take pasta and bread away from an Italian. You get super shredded, right? So I want you to take a picture of that. We can go to the next one. Now, this is another example of a victor that we worked with inside of our community. His name is Don. Don's now a part of our core team. But this is the story around Don. Don came to me on the left and he said, Nick, I want you to be my accountability partner. And by the way, we do agree that accountability isn't something that we want. No one wants accountability, but we need it. It's the biggest superpower humans have. And so Don came to me and said, I want to do this program. It has a bunch of non-negotiables on it. It's called 75 Hard, for anyone who knows the program. And it's a bunch of non-negotiables. And he said, I want you to do it with me to hold me accountable. I'm like, oh man, you're going to put me into this. And I was like, all right, I'll do it with you. And so Don committed. These were Don's non-negotiables. Now, you don't have to follow these. These are pretty extreme. But you see, extreme non-negotiables get extreme results. And so Don's non-negotiables were 2 45-minute workouts, one indoor, one outdoor, a gallon of water a day, taking a progress picture of himself every day, 10 pages of reading, and his gallon of water. I think I missed over one. His gallon of water, his 45-minute workouts, indoor, outdoor, 10 pages of reading, and yeah, that was his non-negotiables. Oh, and no cheats on your diet. That was the important one. That's key. No cheats on your diet for 75 days. And so Don did this, and he did it way longer than 75 days, but this is the results of following through in the very promises that you keep to yourself. Can you see the change in Don's physiology and his confidence? Just by the pictures, yes? He's more confident. He's in better shape. And because he's more confident and he believes in his ability more, he's going to make more money. He's going to have better relationships. He's going to be able to influence at a higher level rather than if he's uncertain and unconfident. Who sees that? I want you to drop a yes. I know you're streaming from Facebook and YouTube. Who agrees that you will only make as much as you think you're worth? And you can create that self-worth through following through in the very promises that you keep within yourself. We can go to the next one. Now, during my journey of becoming a bodybuilder, because I became a bodybuilder, I really fell in love with the physical things and the mental things going into the gym. I was able to meet this guy on the screen. And I was in a random gym at one time, and this is one of my moments of being guided, where I was at the right place at the right time. I went into a gym in Las Vegas, and everybody's crowded around the gym. My buddy comes running up to me, he goes, dude, The Rock is upstairs lifting. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Can I still get my lift on? I was on prep for my bodybuilding show. And so I go up, and lo and behold, there's Dwayne, and he's surrounded by 4 security guards, and he's working out. And to give you some context, I already blasted my videos off to The Rock. He already messaged me and was like, wow, this is amazing. So he already knew who I was. And so I looked at my friends, and I said, let's not bother him. If The Rock is who he says he will, he'll come up to me. I stick out like a sore thumb. And so 45 minutes later into my workout, his security guard comes running up to me. He goes, you're Nick, right? And I said, not many people look like this. And he said, can Dwayne meet you? I'm like, dude, I've been waiting. Bring him on. And so they escort me over to the corner, and he tries his best to get on my level. And he says, dude, I'm such a big fan. I love what you do. Can I have a picture with you? Now on the inside, I'm going, oh my God, it's Dwayne Johnson, right? You'd be doing the same thing too. But on the outside, I'm like, sure, bro. I can drop my set. Let's grab a picture. And we take a picture. And I start rattling off all my goals to him. I'm going to become the biggest speaker. I'm going to become the first Calvin Klein model with no legs. I'm going to take over the world. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do it all. And he said, Nick, you're right, because people like you and I, they put us in any industry and we adapt and overcome. And he told me what he was going through, and I helped him shift his perspective on a little bit of things that he was going through. But the reason why I share that story is, yeah, it's great that I met The Rock, and that's amazing. But the real lesson behind this story, my friends, is I would never have that relationship with that man if I wasn't consistent with the promises that I kept within myself. When I told myself I was going to become a bodybuilder and people made fun of me. You can't do that. You don't have the resources. You don't have the limbs. You don't have the knowledge. I still followed through. I stayed consistent. And the consistency paid off with a relationship with The Rock. We can go to the next one. Now, what I want you to do right now, if you're up for getting a little bit uncomfortable, is let's create some non-negotiables in our life. I'm not here to motivate you and inspire you and leave you like, wow, that was great. And then the next day you go back to doing the same thing that you were doing the day before. And I'm also not here to share a bunch of knowledge and for you to not implement it, because I want you to remember as well that knowledge is potential power. Knowledge is potential power. The real power comes from when you implement it. Let's not be that guy or girl who just gains knowledge and then doesn't implement it. There's too many people like that, and I know you're not that way. And so right now, I want you to type down in the chat 2 to 3 non-negotiables that you are going to commit to starting today or tomorrow, today, that you're going to do that are going to build confidence, self-worth, and self-integrity in you, because you know it has the ability to get you to the next level. Whether that's 45 minutes working out, whether that's no cheats on your diet, whether that's going for a walk every morning, starting your day off with gratitude, with my gratitude exercise, whatever that looks like for you, I want you to commit to 2 to 3 non-negotiables in this very moment. And also, I put up here, a lot of the times as humans, we get caught up in this have to mindset. This have to mindset. What I mean by that is, I have to go to this showing. I have to go to this open house. I have to make a few calls. I have to stay late. I have to watch the kids. I have to go to the gym. When in reality, my friends, all those things are privileges. And we get to do those things. Because I know even me, a man with no legs and one arm, knows that there's millions of kids and adults that are confined in wheelchairs, that are stuck in hospital beds, that look outside every single day and say, I wish I could just walk around. I wish I could breathe the fresh air. I wish I could go see my family. Even me, a man with no legs and one arm, know there's millions of people that would switch places with me in an instant because they just don't have it like I do. We get to go to the gym because we have a full body. We get to go build a business because we live in the land of the free. You get to go to that open house because you are serving people at the highest level. Who agrees that these things are all privileges? You don't have to do anything. You get to. I see Nate, well done. Clean diet, daily exercise. I love it. I see all your non-negotiables in the chat. I appreciate you. Christy said 15 minutes of exercise, 3 gratitudes every night to my accountability partner, 100 ounces of water. Well done, Christy. Taking action now. Now, the second pillar of the victory method is coaching. I want you to write that down. And one of the biggest questions that I get, or most common questions I should say I get, is, Nick, how did I become a world-class speaker in just a few short years? And I wish I had an elaborate answer for you, but I tend to keep things simple. And I want you to remember this. The reason why I keep things simple is because complexity is the enemy of execution. Complexity is the enemy of execution. You know this. When things get too complex, our mind goes elsewhere like, screw it, I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm talking about. Keep things simple. And so how did I become a world-class speaker in just a few short years? I've hired a coach. And by the way, this is the great Sean Stevenson. He passed away about, I think it was a year like yesterday or 2 days ago. He passed away a year or 2 years ago. And he was an amazing mentor and speaking coach of mine. And in case you didn't think anyone was shorter than me, there's someone out there, Sean. Sending love, brother. And I've hired a coach. And the reason why I've hired a coach is because coaching is a cheat code to life. Coaching is a cheat code to life. And I put a little hint up here, but I want you to answer in the chat. Why do you think your time and your energy are your 2 most valuable assets? Why do you think your time and your energy are your 2 most valuable assets? Because you can never get them back, my friends. You can never get them back. So people like you and I, we're always willing to invest in someone who has the results that we want so they can condense the process. We learn from coaches so they can condense decades of knowledge into years, months, sometimes even weeks, and sometimes even days. We can go to the next one. Yeah, they're finite, right? And even some of the best in the world, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Conor McGregor, the great Kobe Bryant, what do all these people have in common? They all have coaches. Because as well, one of the most powerful things that you can have in your business and your life is new eyes and new ears. New eyes and new ears. The reason being is because when you're in your business or when you're in your life, you have blinders on. Yes, you can only, your tunnel vision, you can only see so much. You can only see so many solutions or so many challenges. But when someone from outside of your world comes in, they can see it with a way more clearer picture. Does that make sense? Drop a yes in the chat. So I put up here, do you have a coach in your life? Now, these are extremely important questions. Who are you taking advice from? I'll get on a little rant here. I'm going to get fired up. Who are you taking advice from? Do they lead by example? Now, what I mean by that is I've seen too many people out there taking relationship advice from someone who has terrible relationships. Just being open and honest and direct with you. I see too many people taking financial advice from someone who doesn't have their financials in order. I see too many people taking health and fitness advice from someone who's out of shape. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to push you to do that either. Make sure those that you are getting taught by have the results in the life you want. Model those who have the results that you want. And in order to do that, you need to get clear on what you want in your life. What do you want? And be specific. How many deals do you want to close? How much revenue do you want to bring in? How much percentage of that revenue are you going to donate to charity? When do you want to take that vacation? How many specific pounds do you want to lose? We have to be specific with what we want. And if we don't know where we want to go, we'll never get anywhere worthwhile. Find someone, whether it's in your industry, someone you look up to, someone who's coaching you, who has the life or results that you want, and go model them, go learn from them. Go find ways to provide value to them so they want to feel compelled to give back to you. But please, do not take advice from someone who doesn't have the results that you want. Even if it's a good thing I got one finger. The one thing that you take away from today is make sure that the people that you are taking advice from are leading by example and have what you want. We can go to the next one. And so, the last pillar of the victory method, the last C, is community. And I put a little quote from the original OG of the industry, Jim Rohn. If you don't know who Jim Rohn is, go search him up and go change your life because he's amazing. But I put up here, I'd hold up 5 fingers, but I only got one. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so many people say, Nick, you're 24 years old. How did you get to serve alongside Tony Robbins at such a young age? How does that happen? Right? So I'll share a story. I've been sharing stories this whole time, but I'll share another story. About 4 years ago, I knew a kid who moved from New Jersey to Tampa, Florida to pursue bodybuilding. And when he got to Tampa, he had a mutual friend, and that mutual friend said, hey, I'm having a mastermind. It's about 8 other entrepreneurs. Just come meet people. You never know who you meet, the networks or the resources, the opportunities that will come out of it. Just come and meet some people. And so that kid goes to this mastermind, and he's shy, and everybody's sharing their story. And they finally get up to this kid, and they go, what's your story? And he goes, I got a long story. You got a long time? And this kid starts sharing his story, and at the end of his story, there was a Russian guy over on the couch, and he looks at him, he goes, one day you're going to be on stage with Tony Robbins. And that kid said, first of all, I don't really know who Tony Robbins is. I'm 21 years old. I have no speaking credentials. I don't know anything about business. I've never spoken in my life. And you're crazy. I don't even know you. 4 years later, that kid's on a world tour with Tony Robbins and labeled one of the greatest communicators on earth. And that kid was me. And I don't say that to say, hey, look at me, I'm amazing. I share that with you to give you a little taste of the power of community. Because sometimes, my friends, it takes a different person from a different walk of life to see a gift in you that you may not see in yourself. And the man in that picture that's right above me was that Russian that was sitting on a couch, didn't know who I was, and had a vision that one day this kid would be on stages impacting millions of people, and he didn't know what gave him that vision, but he was compelled. He worked for me for free, and then one day we started a company and toured the world together. My friends, if there's anything, you go to the next one, if there's anything that I've learned with hanging around Tony Robbins and being a dear friend is love your family and friends, choose your peer group. Love your friends and family, choose your peer group. I'm going to shoot you straight here because I know you like to be talked to direct. You're a straight shooter. If you hang around people who are out of shape, you're most likely out of shape. You hang around people who are penny pinching, you're most likely penny pinching yourself. If you hang around people that have a negative mindset, it's only a matter of time before you start to have a negative mindset. And if you hang around people with toxic relationships, it's only a matter of time where that trickles into your own. Who sees that? And if you hang around people who have low standards, it's only a matter of time when you start lowering your own damn standards. That's facts. So who is in your front row of life? Who's in your front row of life? And in your front row of life, these should be people that are hyping you up, pushing you, challenging you, because you know that you have more to give, more to be, more to serve. Right? And a little analogy that I got from one of my mentors is, at the end of your life, whether you believe in God, the universe, whether you believe in nothing, right? I don't know what it is for you. But at the end of your life, when you pass on to wherever you go, and you meet your maker, or you meet the man or woman you are, you want to look at that person and have it be an identical twin. The person that you lived up to. The last thing that you want in this lifetime is you play full out, or you think you play full out, you take okay chances, or you don't go all in on your business, all in on your dreams, and at the end of your life, you meet your maker, and you're like, who are you? And he says, what do you mean, who am I? This is the man or woman you could have became. I'm the better you. I'm the Nick that lived up to his full potential. I'm the Cindy that lived up to his full potential. The last thing that we want to do is go through our entire life and meet someone who's a stranger at the end of our lifetime of the person that we could have became. That's not for us. We're here to play full out. We're here to make a massive impact. Maybe for you, you're here to break your generational curse. The first person in your family to have financial freedom. You want to take care of your parents. You want to retire them. You want to be able to cut a check in case something bad happens in the family. That's what we're here for. To max out and live up to our full potential, live a victorious life. But these 3 C's are extremely important, especially this community one. If you don't have a community of like-minded individuals, you need to find one. Now, I'm getting hyped up because I know the power of community. This is another example of the power of community. This is the lovely Cam. And when I met Cam, she was working in dentistry. She was in dentistry for about 10 years. And when I met Cam, and we started spending more time together, she said, one of my passions, one of my dreams is to help women build an amazing relationship with food and exercise and get their bodies back and having them live in a body that they really enjoy. And at the time, she was working full-time in dentistry, and I asked her, I said, how many clients do you need to supplement your income if you were to go all in on health and fitness? And she said, I need roughly 12. I started laughing. I said, you can do that very quickly. She said, yeah, I think I could do it in a year. I said, no, I think you could do it in about 3 and 4 months. And because of Cam was able to learn from someone like me who's already done it, who's already scaled coaching, who's already done products and services, in just 3 months, Cam was able to recruit about 13 to 15 women and build a residual income of $4,000 to $5,000 and go all in on her dreams and be completely free. And if you follow me heavily, you'll know that Cam is now my girlfriend, and we've been together just over 2 years. I don't highly suggest that you date your clients. This just happened to be a unique moment, and I wouldn't change anything for that. But this is the power of community. This is also another example of community. This is Gary Bowen, and I know we got Remax, we got Keller Williams, a bunch of different things. I'm pretty sure Gary is part of this world, the real estate world. And when Gary joined our community and started learning from the community, he was just diving into personal development. He's a successful real estate agent, but he was just diving into personal development. And we were talking about passive income. And I gave him one small perspective shift, and the community helped this. I said, Gary, you know, most real estate agents, they spend most of their focus trying to sell 50 or 60 houses to make $2, $3, $4 million, whatever that revenue goal is. But I would say you can focus on that. That's great. But in this very moment as well, if you allocated some of your focuses to acquire assets that build passive income now, if you start building your passive income now, who knows, 2, 3, 4 years, you might have passive income to $6,000, $10,000 to $15,000, so you're free now rather than later. Who sees that? I want you to sell a certain quota. I want you to make a certain amount of money, but if you also get your brain in the mindset of how can I acquire assets and build passive income now, you will be free sooner than later. And Gary shifted his focus on that in just, I think, 6 to 7 months. Gary now has an additional passive income stream of $5,000 to $6,000 through apartment buildings, but he shifted his focus. Instead of going all in on one specific thing, he shifted his focus so he can be free now rather than later. It's the power of community. We can go to the next one. So my question is, my friends, as I'm wrapping up here, do you have the right community in your life? And you go to the next one. What would your life look like? What would your life look like if you had these 3 C's in your life? Because when you combine these 3 pillars, you can bridge the gap from where you are and where you want to be. But I think we can all agree, and I can that you're an action taker, that you're someone who values your time and values your personal development, because you wouldn't be on this call. You know that there's always a next level in life, yes or no? There's always a next level of life. If you're saying no, we got some big ego, we need to drop our ego, there's always a next level in life. And so I'm going to ask you a few questions before we go into question and answer here, but how would your reality change if you had the right consistency, the right coaching, and the right community in your life? How would your reality change? You can even put it in the chat if you're up for it. How would your reality change if you had these 3 pillars in your life? What would your financial situation look like if you had the right consistency, the right coaching, and the right community to back you up? What would your health look like? Would you finally be able to run around with your grandkids or your kids without being out of breath? Would you finally be able to have the certainty that you're going to live long enough to see your little girl walk down the aisle? What does that look like for you? And what would your health look like if you had the right coaching, the right consistency, and the right community? And what would your relationships look like? Most importantly, with yourself. What would your relationships be like if you had the right coaching, the right consistency, and the right community that was challenging you, that was loving on you, that was pushing you because they know you got more in you? What does that look like for you? And so many people ask me every day, Nick, can you help me live a victorious life like you? The answer is yes. I help people just like you inside my inner circle every single week. Now, I'm not going to go much into my inner circle. I'm just going to plant a few seeds about it and give you some context about it. My inner circle is basically my mastermind, my exclusive mastermind that is developed off these 3 pillars: the right coaching, the right consistency, the right community. And you get me live on Zoom every single Monday where I teach my best strategies on relationship, your body, your mindset, and your wealth. And I also bring in my experts and my mentors to teach you as well. We give you accountability partners, and there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that, but I'm not going to dive into it. I'm going to give you the opportunity to learn more about it. But listen, my Victorious Inner Circle is literally the only place where I do coaching. I don't do any I rarely do any one-on-ones. It's for a very high price, but the only exclusive mentoring and coaching that I do is my Victorious Inner Circle, and we're very, very choosy on the type of people that we let in. And I know that what type of people you are, because I wouldn't mention the inner circle if I didn't think that you are a great fit for the community. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop a link. You're going to want to click the link, because when you click the link and you're going to fill out the application, you're going to really enjoy getting on a phone call with me or one of my team members, and we're going to share what the inner circle is, all the bonuses, and see if we're a good fit, because I know your time's valuable and I know my time's valuable. So I want to see if you're a good fit and I'm a good fit for you. And then we'll share some of the bonus that you'll get and see if the Victorious Inner Circle is a good fit for you. But if you firmly believe that you can elevate your coaching consistency community, you want to further that connection, you're going to want to click on that link. You're going to enjoy filling out that application. And when you fill out that application, you're going to love getting on a phone call with me or one of my team members so we can share all the bonuses, all that the Victorious Inner Circle has to offer. And you're going to love being surrounded by some of the greatest consistency, some of the greatest coaching, and some of the greatest community that I've built because I've built it. And I think we can all agree that I have some challenges in my life. Can we agree? Nick has some challenges in his life. I mean, putting on the shirt was a challenge. And so I had to create one of the most robust, results-driven system. And basically the foundation, I put it down to coaching, consistency, and community. I know it works or else I wouldn't be talking to you about it. So right now, my team dropped the link. Go ahead. You're going to want to click the link, fill out the application, and enjoy getting on a phone call with me or one of my trainers so we can push you into the inner circle if you think it's a good fit to take you to the next level. Now, I'm going to end off with one story. It's a good thing I got one finger, right? I'm going to end off with one story, and then we're going to go into question and answer because I want to serve you at my highest potential and give us time for question and answer. I was 12 years old, and I was on a road trip with my dad in Kansas. And if you've ever been to Kansas, there's not much there, just a lot of fields. And if you're inquiring about going to Kansas, it's beautiful, but there's not much there. And I was on a road trip with my dad in Kansas, and for the first time, I looked to my right, and I saw a cow pasture. And there was a bunch of cows, probably about 50 cows, and I saw brown cows, and I saw white cows. And I'm hitting my dad, I go, Dad, oh my God, look. It's the first time I've seen a chocolate milk cow. The brown cows, that's where chocolate milk comes from. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah, that's where chocolate milk comes from. And he said, Nick, where did you learn that? I said, I don't know. One day I saw it or I learned it or it popped into my head and I believed it. And I said, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but chocolate milk doesn't come from brown cows. And I was mind blown. The reason why I share that, my friends, is because along your journey of life, thoughts have came into your head that aren't really true, that you believed. That I'm not good enough. I don't have the resources. I'm not good at sales and influence. I'm too young. I'm too old. I don't have the networks. I don't have the time. Along your journey of life, thoughts have popped into your head, and I want to let you know from a brother to a brother and a brother to a sister that those thoughts aren't true. And you know it. If you firmly believe that you can live a victorious life, that the only thing that's stopping you is your mindset, then find your truth. And I bet I can just guess, because I know the type of person that you are, I can guess that you're an action taker. I can guess that you value your time, you value the investment in yourself, that you care for your family, you care for your business, you care for your clients, and you will do whatever it takes to get the results. I think we can agree on that. Is that a good guess? And so live your truth. Find out what you need to work on it. Find out who has the results and model them so they can expedite your process. But most importantly, remember that the training up here never stops. With that being said, let's go into some question and answer, shall we? We got some questions? That was my long dramatic pause. Great, Nate, this is a great question. Awesome, we're throwing them up on the screen. Why do people not take action? This is a great question. Now, I'm going to give you a little equation. Here. I want you to write this down. Focus equals an emotion. Emotion then leads to an action. Action then leads to a result. Focus leads to an emotion. Emotion then leads to an action. An action then leads to a result. Now, what does that mean? Why does that make sense? Well, if our focus is off, if we're focused on all the terrible things in our life, and we're in a low state, we feel anxiety, we feel stressed, we feel pissed off and angry, we're not going to take action when we don't feel good. Or we're going to take bad action because we feel bad. And so people don't take action because they're coming from a low state. They're thinking about what if this doesn't happen? What if this falls through? Do I have the right results? They're thinking themselves out of it, and so they don't take action at all. But also another reason why people in the group, why they may not be taking action, is because they haven't found or created a compelling vision for their life. And what I mean by that, if you want to write this down, there's two forms of motivation. There's push and there's pull. Two forms of motivation. There's push and there's pull. A lot of us in this group, we've been pushing too long. Pushing towards our goals, pushing towards our ambitions, pushing towards our relationships, and we got burned out. Has anyone ever been there? Pushing isn't sustainable, but pull is. And what I mean by pull is having a compelling vision for your life. Understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And so for me, you know, my ultimate driving force came down to the fact that I want to give my parents a life like they gave for me. But I picked up on patterns, speaking to thousands of people, and I asked them, why do you go to work? They say, I have to. But there's a deeper reason why you go to work every day, is there not? We need to get clear on that. You probably want to provide financial freedom for your kids. You probably want to provide financial freedom for yourself. Maybe for you, you want to break a generational curse. Maybe for you, you want to retire your parents through real estate. Would you agree that these are all way more compelling reasons than I have to? So I think we don't take action because we don't have something that pulls us. And if we don't have something that pulls us, we're in a very low state and we're going to take low action and get low results. I hope that helped, Nate. Christy Kohlberg, I appreciate you. Nick, what are the best things that your parents taught you growing up that set you up with this awesome mentality at an early age? I'll give you a great example. My parents put my clothes in front of me and said, figure it out. They wouldn't do the work for me. They give me verbal suggestions, but they never do the work for me. And clearly, I got a shirt on today. I figured out how to put my clothes on, so it worked. Second thing they did was they put my food in front of me and said, figure it out. Now, what were they doing? Well, the things that they taught me were, one, to have an empowering relationship with failure. I learned early on that failure is my friend. It's my best friend. I cuddle with failure. I watch Netflix. I've watched Netflix with failure on the weekends because I know on the other side of failure, massive personal growth is going to be taking place. Fail faster so you can succeed faster. But if we have beliefs around failure that it's bad, what is my family going to think of me if I fail? What will I think of me if I fail? What will my colleagues think of me if I fail? Then we're not going to take the action we need to do to get to the next level. We're not going to take those risks. We're not going to go all in. And so I came up with a little quote, if you want to write it down. When failure is a friend, you will learn to the end. If failure is a foe, you will never grow. Teach yourself and teach it to your kids. It'll change the game. Also, because everything was hard for me, I also developed an empowering relationship with rejection. Now, if you're in the business of estate and talking to people on a day-to-day basis, you need to have an empowering relationship with rejection. Because if you go out and you get into real estate and someone turns you down and you don't close the deal, a lot of the times that sets us back and it keeps us back because we start second guessing ourselves. Am I a good real estate agent? Do I know how to sell? Do I know how to influence? Most people aren't persistent enough to get new results. I want you to be persistent enough to get your next yes, your next proof of concept, your next certainty. But most importantly, going back to that question, develop an empowering relationship with failure and an empowering relationship with rejection. And lastly, focus on the solution, not the problem. As entrepreneurs, we get paid a lot of money to solve big problems. Focus on the solution, not the problem. When you focus on the problem, you're going to get in your head, anxiety, stress, overwhelm. You're not going to focus on the solution and get your team to focus on solutions rather than not the problems. Great questions. Awesome. Remax Professionals, Arizona. How do you help people get started, especially with their own internal dialogue when they're trying to figure out how big or small to make their... Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, most of this programming and most of this conditioning comes from your unconscious mind, right? So for example, you set out a goal. For example, this is pretty funny. And your unconscious mind will have resistance. And so what I mean by that is you'll write down in your goals, you'll say, make more money. Your unconscious. Outside, you find a dot that says, work here's done. What's next? That's what I said. We got to be extremely specific on what we want. But what I mean about the unconscious is that's where most of the programming and your beliefs come from. And so a very easy way for you to access your unconscious, or AKA theta state in your brain. Theta state is usually where kids learn so much and all their beliefs come from. We can access theta state early in the morning when we meditate. You can do it at night, but studies shown that in the morning you can access theta state easier. And then you can think about all the things you want. You can also write down incantations, or I you call them affirmations. Affirmations are like when you look at the mirror and in your head you go, I'm happy, I'm happy, happy, and your brain says screw off. But incantations are like affirmations on the next level. And incantations are when you embody the words over and over again until they're in you, as you, this is you. And so I'll give you an example. Before this speech, I'm here. Before the camera goes on, I'm going through my incantations like this. I'm a force for good. I'm a slow as a leader. I'm becoming I'm meant to be. I am mastering the skill of influence. I'm a tactical speaker, and I'll go over and over and over again, and I'll get into that state, and I'll embody those words. But if you dissect and you analyze my incantations, I'm a student of the game. I created that incantation because I thought I was a bad student from high school. I am decisive. In my business life, I struggled with making decisions quick. So I wanted to reaffirm that I'm decisive. I remind myself over and over again. And so what I do is create some invitations. I am kind. I am mastering the skill of influence. I'm an amazing people person. I am confident, and over and over and over again until it becomes you. Because the bottom line is, my friends, the person that you see here today, I wasn't this person days ago, weeks ago, years ago. I built this person through repetition over and over again with my mind. Training never stops, my friends, but realize we all got to start somewhere. And if you don't use your muscle, you lose it. Continually train your brain. Great question. You mentioned there is always a higher plateau. What is your next one? There's always a higher plateau. I would say my next one is I want to have, we have an amazing group in circle. I want that to be a massive group, but I also want to then we're going to go do retreats with those people. And my job is to help as many people, give them the tools, strategies, and mindsets to live the life on their terms and to make as much money as they want, as much happiness and fulfillment as they want. I also want to systemize the speaking company. I live here in Vegas, and so the events are coming back. And I want to retire my parents in real estate. That was one of mine. When I was talking about compelling vision, that's one of mine. Retire my parents in real estate, Italian, these things that I'm getting to do. And for me, or fulfillment for me, is just being able to do what I want, people that I really enjoy. And just like this, I really enjoyed this hour, spending time with people that I enjoy. I want to do this all the time while helping others create the life that they've always dreamed of. So, with that being said, I think we're wrapping up with just a reminder. If you're ready to take that coaching, consistency, and community to the next level, remember they dropped the link. You're going to want to click the link. You're going to enjoy filling out the application and enjoy getting on a phone call with me or one of my peers, so you can then start loving on the coaching and the community that we got inside the inner circle, my friends. With that being said, I think they're coming back to take me off the screen. I enjoyed this time with you. I hope to see you soon. And most importantly, remember, the biggest disability you can have is a bad mindset. Stay victorious, my friends.
Hey, Nick, thank you so much. That was an amazing hour. I really appreciate everything that you shared with us. And as Christy says, you're a badass. So thank you very much. Thank everybody for coming. Remember, we do have an inner circle within our company as well. So get on there, share, learn, and grow together. So check out Nick's link. And again, thank you so much, brother. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.